Hello everybody and welcome to Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. I'm Jack, and if you guys are looking for PTCGO codes, including the latest set Chilling Reign, make sure you head over to the PoTown store where you can get 5% off your order with code Omnipoke. Today we're taking a look at Eternatus. We're hopping into, we're back on PTCGO now, taking a look at some decks. And Eternatus is the first one I'm going to be profiling for the channel today. Basically, Eternatus got a pretty big buff in terms of matchup spread because Shadow Rider is one of the best decks right now and we have weakness on it. As well as some great new tools in Galarian Moltres. A great new tool in Galarian Moltres, meaning the deck can be played slightly differently. It did gain some sort of awkward cards here and there. Things like Galarian Zapdos V and Path of the Peak can be an issue. But we still think Eternatus has a very, very important role in the meta. Dreadend's still applying huge pressure on turn 2 against some of these tag team decks, as well as just VMAXs in general. Just doing up to 270 is crazy. Obviously, being able to boast this Crobat engine as well, you're naturally going to be playing 4 Crobats, so you're naturally going to be a hyper-consistent deck. Obviously, Galarian Moltres is the new star of the show. Direflame Wings letting you attach an energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon once per turn. You can only use one of these per turn, but this actually finally means that Eternatus is no longer scared of hammers, because in combination with Energy Switch, we can actually build up an Eternatus out of nowhere, even if we miss that turn 1 attachment, which used to be sort of the bane in Eternatus' life. Trying to find that turn 1 energy was one of the most important things for the deck. Now it's not really an issue. Along with this, Galarian Moltres actually provides a decent non-VMAX attacker against things like Zamazenta, as well as just other 2-prize Pokemon. We're doing 190, so in combination with Zigzagoon, we can push into 200 range and KO some VMAXs, some V Pokemon out there, which is pretty good. We're also able to play a Hoopa to try and punish some Jirachi engines now. Assault Gate doing 90 damage is great for, like I say, dealing with things like Jirachi, Sobble in the early turns that we're seeing people play. And because we're playing E-Switch right now as well, this isn't sort of a wasted attachment in the early turns. We can attach to the Hoopa, use the Assault Gate, and still be able to get a Dreadend the next turn. Really good for even just peppering up Evolving Vs to be able to KO the VMAX with Eternatus on the following turn. So yeah, really, really good. Couple of this is basically an all consistency style build. There's no frills to this. A couple of cards just before I jump into the games. A couple of cards you can play. Lipard V was another tool that you can, or another Pokemon that you can play that discards tools. There's not really great targets for it out there right now, but it's definitely one to consider. Along with that, we can play tools of our own. Big Charm. Obviously, Eternatus is cleanly one-shot by Galarian Zapdos V. Big Charm actually takes you out of range, which is really important. It means that the Galarian Zapdos players are going to, or people playing Zapdos, are going to have to find a tech card like Tool Jammer, Tool Scrapper in order to actually get the one-shot, which is really good. Along with that, we're also not playing Phoebe right now. Phoebe Palpad was pretty staple in Eternatus for a while. Basically, we think Phoebe Palpad is not quite getting as much value as it once was. I don't think one Phoebe plus Palpad wins the Decidueye matchup, especially now they're focused on basically a 404 candy line of Decidueye trying to get 3 into play. I don't think one Phoebe plus 1 Palpad gets you through the Eternatus, gets you through the Decidueye matchup anyway, so not really worth it there. And against Zamazenta, we actually have a new attacker here in Galarian Moltres. Again, it's not the most efficient of trades. We are 2-shotting even after debuffs, but obviously this isn't great against things like Malolana, and is clearly one-shot by Azation as well, so it can still make things awkward, but we do at least have an answer now. It's by no means a guaranteed answer. This isn't sort of the best way, the best answer that we can have against things like Zamazenta, but I think you can at least present an argument without Phoebe now, which is really important. But yeah, Phoebe is definitely a card that you could look at adding in. Third Swell is another one that obviously Path of the Peak shuts off Eternal Zone, as well as stopping us play Crobats and Direflame Wings. So yeah, trying to find space for a third Swell is another important shout. And yeah, sorry, back to the Big Charms. I don't think we guaranteed win without them. I think we have plays without the Big Charms, but if you're feeling like the Galarian Zapdos is just too much of a threat, Big Charms are definitely a viable include into the deck, just to try and shore up matchups where people are really like leaning into Zapdos to try and knock you out. Typically, in this kind of scenario, we're going to look to maybe evolve into the VMAX a little bit later on and try and take prizes with the Galarian Moltres. Really prioritize those Galarian Moltres instead. 190 plus 10 from a Zigzagoon ping actually KOs a Moltres, so we do have ways around being able to deal with Zapdos without playing the big charms. But yeah, definitely recommend them if you're feeling the pressure from Galarian Zapdos. Let's hop into some games here. Looks like we're against Dragapult. This has typically been a pretty good matchup for Eternatus in the past. I don't think it's going to be too different. I think the only Dragapult decks we've really seen over the past week or so has been like an Inteleon engine. So it'll be interesting to see whether this is indeed one of those engines, or whether this is a little bit more standard with the Dedenes, Crobats, and that kind of thing. Old Cemetery is a new tool for the Dragapult decks, I suppose. I think this is pretty much just a simple Marnie turn here. I don't think the damage is going to matter too much. Crobat drawing us one card really isn't worth it. There's really nothing we should boss. So yeah, let's rip the Marnie. Hopefully we can find some bench Pokemon, maybe even an energy to attach. Unfortunately, this is a pretty bad hand. We're going to be all in on trying to find some Pokemon next turn. Luckily, I don't think the Dragapult is going to be putting too much pressure on us here. But yeah, we have unfortunately missed out on all of our Pokemon. There's the VMAX, and there is a Sobble. Max Phantom, meaning we're only one shot away. Obviously, not ideal. Pretty awkward stuff here. This is taking us to 170. Us hitting his energy is kind of awkward. Us attaching his energy is kind of awkward. We're going up to 170, 190. But if we can take this KO here, which we need 13, 12. We need 5 Pokemon in total. They're out of energy. So I think we take the risk here and go for the research. Attaching first. We do have a fair few Pokemon here, which is pretty good. Kicking things off with... kicking things off with the VMAX. It's Great Ball as well. Grab an Eternatus. So we're doing 120, 180, that's going to be 240, 300. So we're not quite there yet. If we hit another Pokemon anyway, the Zigzagoon damage doesn't matter. So we may as well just start popping damage counters elsewhere. Though if we do miss the KO, we can take it mid-turn next turn. So I think these damage counters are probably not going to be overly relevant. So yeah, let's just stick it on the active. I'm going to burn the comm just for one more card. We really do want to hit this VMAX here, or this extra Pokemon here. We have a Great Ball, we have a Quick Ball, and we have a Swell. So we have the KO here. There's a Crobat. I'm going to be able to Quick Ball for a Moltres as well. Getting an energy in the bin. Dire Flame Wings to set up a secondary attacker. And this is going to be a Dread End for KO here. Taking these first 3 prizes. Obviously, having weakness on Dragapult was always a big issue. So having Calyrex in the meta now, being weak to Eternatus, really puts it in a pretty strong position. Like I say, things like Galarian, Zapdos, and Path of the Peak can be a bit of an issue here in certain decks, but there's definitely still merit to just being able to be hyper consistent, as well as not even having to worry about hammers and stuff anymore. It's a really good. I think it's a really good time for Eternatus, to be honest. Sending up the Sobble. Drizzile is going to keep them in the game for now. I imagine we're just going to see a comm for the Dedenne here. We don't necessarily have to... Oh, there's a Zapdos. They are playing Zapdos. Wild. Research. Digging for the KO here. They got the Aurora. All they need is a switch out here. Evo Incense grabbing the VMAX. Yeah, we're gonna be going for a Dedenne, finding the switch out here. So with a Zigzagoon ping, we can return KO the Zapdos. Looks like they missed a switch out. I think we weren't in a terrible position there. We had a free retreater plus a couple of switch. We could get a Crobat for 6 there. And that opened up the game to... And we had Zapdos Moltres guaranteed, so that opened up the game to immediately winning off of boss, plus finding a Zigzagoon at any point just to take out the attacker at the time. So I think we were in a fairly good spot there. Even though the Eternatus was going down, I think we still had that one. Well, I think we were still in a good position in that game, which was good. Grabbing ourselves a Plasma Blast pack as we jump into another game. Yeah, Dragapult not the most popular archetype right now, but it just goes to show a Dark Week VMAX like that can be pretty easy pickings for Eternatus. We're starting the Hoopa here. I'll bench a second Crobat if we have to, but I can't see us using Assault Gate this game. Typically Assault Gate's more of a going second turn 1 kind of attack rather than a going first on the second turn kind of attack. Blaziken kicking things off, okay. Great Ball's going to find us Eternatus, which is good. I think Quick Ball's probably binning the boss here. Or is it binning the bat? I think it's probably binning the boss. I don't think I particularly want to be going for Marnie next turn, but I think I'm less likely to be going for boss. And let's Crobat for 4. No energy typically would be a bit awkward for this deck, but it's actually not the end of the world anymore. In the case of Marnie, I think I am going to drop a switch now. And I think we can just hold this hand. Not finding energy is still, you know, it's not the end of the world, but it is still a bit awkward. Means we're going to have to really work for a KO next turn. That's just a boss from our opponent. And a high jump kick. There's the E-Switch. E-Switch is a pretty unfortunate card to be drawing. I want to Marnie even less now, knowing that they're on quite a poor hand. Still think we probably have to Marnie though. Unfortunately, we're a long way off the KO, which maybe means we should just Crobat and be passive anyway, but we need an energy this turn guaranteed, so I think we have to Marnie them. It's unfortunate, but hey ho. We're seeing a Crobat for 4 here by the looks of it. Or we can just Assault Gate. Assault Gate doesn't seem overly strong though. I think we Crobat for 4. We have a fair few outs to the VMAX. We have 3 VMAXs in the deck, along with a fair few ball search cards still. Oh, we could have actually, yeah, what we should have done is we should have attached to the Hoopa and E-switched it off. Oh, we might need the E-switch for, yeah, we should have done that. We should have done that. We can still actually E-switch and Hoopa this way though. There's the VMAX. Swell is going to be important for the tower. I think we E-switch and... oh, we can just Derail here instead. How good's Derail compared? Derail loses them the energy. Takes him to 100. They have 120. We can actually just KO next turn though. I think the Assault Gate is slightly better. This is a tough one. I'm not sure whether Assault Gate or Derail is better here. Derail means we don't. Assault Gate means we have to find switching out again next turn. So potentially not. If. I think we Derail. It's essentially a similar amount of damage as long as we can find Galarian Zigzagoon next turn. I think we can hold this hand. That's a tough one. Obviously they can recover the energy, so it's kind of not important that we discard the energy, but if we can force the auxiliary to have to find an energy or something, that'd be really good. Karina's Focus. You definitely have outs to being able to KO the Yveltal here. We could lose our free retreater, which would be a bit annoying, but overall not the end of the world, I don't think. Urshifu going in, so they're playing the whole Rapid Strike box in this list. Probably going to be seeing, I would imagine, an Octillery here. Yeah, Octillery to be able to Rapid Strike search. If they have one of the pieces, they can. Yeah, they've got one of the pieces, they can grab the other. Dedenne first and foremost though. There's the Urshi. I actually, in this current position, I actually think I'm more scared of Zeraora than Urshi. So we'll have to see where our opponent attaches this Rapid Strike energy. Looks like it's going to be to the Urshi here. Quick Ball off the top would be pretty good. Though it would mean we'd have to sack our research, which would be a bit scary. But ideally, Gust KOing the Rapid Strike this turn would be very strong. Have to wait and see. Oh, they're just going to straight up concede. Interesting. I think they're in a fine position there. But we'll grab another one, regardless. Yeah, I think they were in a fine position there. I think it would have depended on whether we could take the KO on the VMAX. If we could take the KO on the VMAX, it may have been okay. Or sorry, the KO on the VMAX or the KO on the Urshi. If we'd missed the KO on the VMAX and the Urshi, I think we could have been in potentially a little bit of a sticky situation. But yeah, lost this coin flip. Going to be going second. Variety of Pokemon. What do I want to lead with? I think leading Eternatus should be fine. Yeah, it should be fine. We could potentially lead Moltres, but forces us to find switch out to attack turn 2, and we can also still Power Accelerator. Looks like we are indeed against LucaMetal here, so we'll be able to see whether LucaMetal is winnable without the Phoebe. Kicking things off with a Zam. Capture Energy, grabbing Zacian, and then an Intrepid. Does get the attachment. Okay. So I think we're always mining this turn. I think we're probably always discarding this energy and attaching it to the Moltres. We definitely need another Eternatus. have Pry as one of our Moltres, which is annoying. We're definitely going to be Marnieing, so I think we can quick ball this E-Switch away. I want to get counters on the LucaMetal as early as possible to be able to hopefully still push through. Do we want a quick ball for anything, or do we just quick ball to be able to draw more cards with Crobat? What are we looking for with Crobat? We could potentially Crobat after the fact. We only have 2 quick ball and 2 Crobat left in the deck though. Maybe we just Marnie here. I think Marnieing, we have a lot of outs to, we still have a lot of outs to Crobat. And this way we kind of draw more cards. Potentially not. Potentially not. Let's see what the Great Ball has for us. Great Ball only has Eternatus VMAX. Punish there. Maybe should have gone for the... Just gone for the attachment. Would have put the Zam potentially into range. Oh well. I think this is still okay. We have the E-Switch to be able to go for a big Eternatus VMAX play next turn, potentially, which is good. Having to go for Sinlin. There's a switch gone. Capture to the Zam, not grabbing anything, and just an Intrepid. Yeah, just an Intrepid. Okay. There's a second metal. Do I commit to this E-Switch here? I don't really think it's worth it, considering we can't boss anyway. So I think we hold the E-Switch. Ideally we draw 2 darks here. Didn't quite. Ziggy can go on active. We can calm away the Eternatus, attach to the active. We can actually even attach to the Moltres, E-Switch to the active to draw an extra card. We can actually pretty much draw 6 here, which is good. I don't really want to clog my bench, I don't think. It's a shame Hoopa's not in the deck. Hoopa would be preferable this turn, but do I want to play all of the cards in my hand? Again, maybe just Derail is best here. Force a switch out of them. They've used 1 switch. Maybe Derail is just best. Yeah, it doesn't leave the Eternatus in the active as well. I think this is better. We can draw some cards as well. So that meant I guess that meant we could take the VMAX if we decided to derail prior to the fact. Okay. Get rid of that energy. So now Zamazenta is in range of just getting one shot by Aura Burn pre-buff. or pre-reduction. Post-reduction, it doesn't quite get through, but that's okay. There's a Hammerheads on the Eternatus. Sorry, on the Moltres. I have used 2 E-Switch, so only 1 E-Switch left, so we can only burst 1 attacker, really. It's maybe a bit more of a passive matchup. Luckily the energy can be recovered, which is good. If we were to find that E-Switch here... Oh no, they're just going to Mallow and Lana. Mallow and Lanaing the damage off is definitely important for them, but it's fine for us because we'd rather them heal 40 than heal 120. So it's still kind of fine. Attach KO Yveltal, I think would also be pretty fine for us. Okay, just going to retreat to the Doll. Going for the GX? Yeah, they're going to go for the GX here. So if we were to find our last energy switch here, we could take the KO on the LucaMetal. Which I think isn't a terrible play to go for. Unfortunately, Marnie is our only draw supporter right now. Going to be Intrepid sorting here. I think we boss the Zacian. Attach, we then draw 2 cards. Not a great amount of cards, but it's better than Marnieing a 1-card hand, for sure. We can switch as well. How many switch have we played? We've only played 1. We can switch into the Eternatus. We're digging for exactly E-Switch. There's no point in wasting a switch, I think. I think we just draw the 2 cards. I don't mind holding the Marnie for next turn because more than likely they're going to be Intrepid sorting this turn. I think Hammers are probably the thing we want to avoid seeing. But they have a 2-card hand, so I think this is almost certainly going to be an Intrepid Sword from them. To which we can Marnie KO, as well as getting another energy onto the Moltres, which is good. Attaching to the bench. They do have a switch. I guess that means we're going aggro Moltres here. Do I want to Marnie a 3-card hand? Not particularly. They have no energy on the Zacian, so we're not under imminent threat. Obviously they can saucer KO, but Tackle is going to get the Malolana, which is pretty frustrating, going down to 40, so they're going to have 230 left, so they're still going to have to 2-shot through this. But anything they promote, we can KO with Eternatus, and we have the switch in hand along with the Marnie, so we have answers here for sure. Potentially should have saved some of these Ziggy pings in certain situations, but there's the Hammer. Luckily that one's a Tails. Means we don't have to be all in on finding one of our last E-switch here. So we know their hand is Sinlin, Malolana, and 2 random cards. Boss switch went, so their last card in hand is Malolana. Sorry, Sinlin. They're just going to Intrepid here. I think Boss would exactly Boss top deck would mean I would go for this, but yeah. We know they have Sinlin. I think I actually want to mine them out of the Sinlin because I want to be finding bosses of my own, as well as I don't want them to get Malolana back. So I think bossing them out or mining them out of Sinlin makes sense here. No bosses to be found, unfortunately. But we are at least taking 3 prizes here, which is good. Galarian Moltres would be a great one. There it is. Not that the Moltres is going to be overly useful while it's in our hand and our bench is full, but hey ho. Mining it to the bottom is okay though. We have 2 switch left. We can even boss to take the Zacian off the board here, which is good. Meaning that they can never play another 2 prize Pokemon down. I think it's as simple as that for the turn. I don't think we need to do anything. The energy attachment could go to... there's only 1 hammer left, so it could just go on here, but we may need to use it to retreat, we may need to use it to attack. So I think just holding the energy is fine. Taking the 3 prizes here, the 2 prizes here. Obviously this opens up stamp plays, but we're going to have to go down to 1 prize at some point anyway, so we might as well try and bait the stamp out as early as possible when we're already not really drawing anything. We have a lot of supporters still in the deck. So yeah, it's fine to be taking these 2 prizes here. Hoopa is the last prize by the looks of it. Not that we're going to be doing too much damage with a Hoopa anymore. Sinlin and Guzhala getting picked up with the tag call. Obviously this matchup would be great if we had a Phoebe. So you can see why Phoebe would potentially be a good pickup here. Sinlin, I would imagine grabbing a Malolana. Yeah, just grabbing that Malolana. There's the Crushing Hammer, 4th. Well, I think they got 1 heads, 3 tails. So we have been fortunate with the hammer flips this game for sure. There's another Zamazenta. Who can do more 130s here? We really need him to take a prize, to be honest. We do really need our opponent to take a prize. I don't want them to take the Eternatus prize though, so I think we will be moving this to the bench. I common this Crobat. It's going to be more important than another Eternatus here. I guess taking a VMAX makes more sense. Obviously we do have switches still in the deck. I'd be more than happy using a switch, but I think I want to retreat this kind of no matter what and feed a Zigzagoon here. There's a boss. There's a Marnie as well. Yeah, obviously 3 3 energy in the bin isn't usually great, but we do have outs to Moltres. So let's just feed them the prize and find enough space for another Moltres next turn. We actually still have an E-switch, so we might as well Dire Flame Wings here to be able to have a spare energy to E-switch off if needs be. So we know they have a Mallow and Lana in hand. There's the boss. Bossing up the Moltres. We know they have a Mallow and Lana, so I think it's fairly safe to just go for this Marnie here. And hopefully be able to find an energy attachment this turn. We still can set up a VMAX and a Moltres in a turn, as long as we get an energy down this turn. Which unfortunately we couldn't do. So that is going to give them time to be able to heal this Moltres, heal this Zamazenta, unfortunately. There's no reason not to Dire Flame Wings. So they're probably going to Mallow and Lana and KO with the fresh one as the goggles. Maybe just retreat KO with the fresh one. Okay, retreat KO is fine. So now basically we have to hope they don't hit the Mallow and Lana. We know there's one in the deck, but it's fairly near the bottom. So we're just basically trying to dodge Tag Call here. We want the quick balls. Okay. Dodge tag call, dodge Mallow Lana, and we should be good here. There's some dolls, there's an energy. There's a Marnie, so we are going to have to find boss, I guess, which we can't do unless they take a knockout, which they are doing, so that's good. We have energy. We have a way to shuffle the deck. Swell isn't ideal. So we're drawing 5 cards and we have to get a boss out of 8. So there's a 5 and 8, or we can make it a yeah, it's better to draw the card is what I need to say here. We unfortunately missed the boss, so we are hitting and hoping here. If they Mallow and Lana one, they can't Mallow and Lana the other. Quick ball, not drawing the Crobat would have been good as well, because we could quick ball out the Crobat. Boss bottom 3. Dropped a sad face on us. What does it mean? There's an energy on the bench. They can't just stay active, so they have to retreat into a Doll here, which means we're not taking a hit, which is great. They're bossing us. We have the switch, so that's fine. So they still have to retreat here. Sweet. We can just switch into the Moltres and take the KO. That was a close game. So yeah, definitely not as easy as it would be if we played a Phoebe, but Phoebe not entirely necessary, it seems. So yeah, that's Eternatus. That's New Age Eternatus. Pretty interesting deck. I still think Eternatus definitely has a place in the meta, and we didn't play against any Shadow Rider there, but you saw how strong we were against Dragapult. Obviously, Dragapult doesn't draw cards. Shadow Rider does. They can get in. They can get into their Zapdos combos easier, things like that. But even so, you saw that we can still apply a lot of pressure, which is pretty cool to see. Eternatus really hasn't been overly represented in the meta so far. So maybe now people are starting to get used to what lists look like and that kind of thing. We'll start to see more Eternatus creeping out the shadows and doing well again. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching. I've been Jack from Omnipoke, and I look forward to seeing you guys in another video. Cheers, everyone.